they had not.
Can you?
I asked my question on the agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you for your question, Mr. Norman. There are three parts to your question. Firstly, you asked me to congratulate the students of West Berkshire. With pleasure. We're very proud of the young people here who are campaigning for action on climate change. There's no more important issue. I should mention to colleagues that, like you, Mr. Norman, I was a governor and still am a governor of St Bart's for many years, and I wasn't surprised to read in the papers that many of the protesters came from St Bart's, which is a school that encourages their students to make a difference. And having recently heard the head teacher describe the superb work the students are doing in school, for example, in eliminating single-use plastics, we know that it's more than a protest, they're taking action, and we're really proud of them. You then go on to ask me to endorse the students' decision to take time off school. Now, you and I, Mr. Norman, as governors, are well aware of the direct relationship between attendance and attainment. I quote, "Every day missed is associated with a lower attainment outcome." I regret the young people chose to take time off school. I understand the precedent of Greta Thunberg. I don't think learning only happens in the classroom, but I still regret their decision. Perhaps we should remember that today 260 million children didn't have a school place. Education is of course a right, but it should also be prized. Now, most of the students we know are bright, resilient, hardworking, and they'll be fine. But is it not possible that among the protesters there was at least one who was vulnerable, one who was unsafe, one who was going to miss a critical lesson that no matter how hardworking their teachers, they'll find impossible to catch up? And that brings me to your third point. I listen to anyone, young, old, in between. You and I have coffee occasionally. In fact, you owe me a date, is how it stands. But I will not incite young children, young people, to miss school. And I certainly won't be contacting them directly through social media to encourage them to miss school. As a long-serving safeguarding governor, I just don't think that's right. But your question ends with a really good point. How are we going to support our youth who are taking this active interest? Well, I've been speaking to the leader about this, and you're right. There's a lot of knowledge and experience and ideas among our young people, and we'll find a way, a safe way, to work with them to make sure that they're involved in what we do in the future.
Do you have a supplementary?
I welcome Councillor Clifford's comments about wanting to work with young people. I also commend her motion later on in the meeting, where I noticed she is determined to act and not sloganise on the issue of climate change. Can the councillor, one of the demands the students made, which you wouldn't hear because you weren't there, was that they want zero carbon on things like housing, energy and other areas. Can you tell me, when are we going to implement course strategy aim of getting zero carbon housing for all new housing in this area?
I did come out to speak to the students, and it was impossible to have a conversation. Certainly wasn't a lack of willingness, as you know. We are moving forward on that. I can't give you a precise date. You know that this isn't my field. We've recently declared that all public buildings will be carbon neutral. Am I correct, Councillor Cole? And
Are you finding a friend?
you know, I'll talk about transport a long time, but the housing, I'm going to have to come back to you on that, Peter. Thank you.